All
I'd give
right.
you,
What was that?
I'd give you one if I could.
Well, much like I somehow gave my cold to people through Zoom this last week.
Right.
So, welcome everybody. Welcome. This is a live discussion with AJ McCorkle of Metro Detroit area, all the way to Ann Arbor, Michigan. So, she services from Metro Detroit all the way through Western Wayne County and into Washtenaw, you guys. So, anyone here in Michigan, make sure you stay in touch with AJ. We'll give her your contact information at the end and in the comments section. So, AJ McCorkle, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good, fantastic. Okay, so and I see us. We are live. This didn't work quite the same way last week, but it's working right now. So that's awesome. All right, so we are here live, guys. We are going to answer questions from our membership. I do see the live chat. So if you are watching and you want to put your questions in the chat, please feel free to do so. So AJ, when did you join and come in contact with Deal a Day Pipeline? Let's give people some context.
Okay. I joined the beginning of June. I saw you on Facebook and I loved what you shared. It seemed really relational, and that's the type of business that I like to have. And so I thought I got to check this out, and I joined in June.
Awesome. So today, AJ, I'm really excited to get to talk to you because you left your full-time position, jumped into real estate at that point full-time. And a
Mhm.
lot of people want to make that transition. Not only that, but we have got some awesome questions today, and they're all over the place, which this is the first time we've done a live and had this breadth of questions. Normally, people want to know about lead generation, lead generation. There's a lot here to explore. So just to tell you what you guys can expect today, we're going to answer the question from Cecilia Higgins. How do I close 2 deals a month predictably so I can bring home 15K a month? That's what I need to do. How do I do it? So we're going to answer that question. Waukesha Charlie, she wants stronger leads. She wants more quality leads, higher conversion rates. We're going to talk about how you do that. Joyce, this is one of my favorites. I want to be able to spend more time with my family and my husband and also enjoy my real estate career without it overwhelming me. Okay, so we're going to answer Joyce's question about how do you have more joy in your career while staying in balance and still making good money. So we're here for time, money, and joy, and you need all three. So we're going to talk to you about what that looks like. Melody Brown wants to know how to be a high producing income based business that has seamless processes and systems. So we're going to talk about systems in your business today. And then she's also wanting to know a little bit about, how do I increase that incoming, lead, that repeat referral business, and then go build a team. And then last but not least, Carl Meehan, brand new, just passed his license, and he wants to know a little bit more about choosing a broker. So you guys, we're going to have a real big conversation today. This one's probably going to last a half hour. So hopefully you can tune in, get your popcorn, and here we go. So AJ, let's talk first. Let's give people a little bit of context about where you were before you joined the program. Where was your frame of mind? What did you think about the future of real estate? How did you feel about it? And then how has that changed since coming in and getting a roadmap and getting training and being able to see how your activities are starting to come to fruition to something? What kind of transformation have you been through?
Huge. So I did have a full-time job and I was doing real estate. I've been in real estate for about 4 years now. And I wanted to just focus on real estate, but I couldn't unless I, quote, could have a predictable income. We all want that, right? That's the goal. And so I was starting to get more business and doing my other job, and I was praying about it, and I felt like it was time because it was time for me to leave that other job and really focus on real estate. And so but it's scary because you don't know the future. It's commission based, so it's scary. So that's why I knew I needed to join some kind of accountability, some kind of system, so I would know what to do every day. And so this program has helped me because I have a plan every day. I wake up less anxious than I would, knowing that there are systems and plans. We're coached to do certain things, and while nothing's guaranteed, my mind is at rest. When I'm doing these things, I'm tracking these things. And
Mhm.
then I can think, okay, I'm doing the right things. The business will come. And it does come. So that's a little bit, you can ask me more specifics if you'd like.
Well, I think one of the most important things you said is there are no guarantees, right? And guys, there aren't guarantees in real estate. It doesn't matter what kind of lead generation you do. If you go hold a house open, there's no guarantees people are going to show. There's also no guarantees those people aren't going to have an agent or are going to call you back, right? If you do Zillow leads or some sort of online lead source, there is no guarantee that you're going to be able to convert those at a level that is sufficient for whatever return on investment you're looking for. You know, if you learn to lead generate organically like AJ is doing, there's still no guarantee. Like you've got to consistently work and sharpen your skills and learn how to nurture those relationships without feeling like you got to avoid the phone call because you don't know what to say to them. It's a process, guys. So no matter how you slice it, this is the way I see it. You need to go and find people that are attached to a future real estate transaction, and you need to nurture those people. And that's the point of lead generation, period, is finding those people, understanding that information, whether it pays off in 3 months, 5 months, 2.5 years. I don't care. If you can learn that skill, it's going to help you no matter what form of lead generation you're doing. Okay. And make no mistake, if you don't know how to find that real estate transaction, you're going to be paying money to someone who knows, like a tech industry giant who knows how to advertise these listings and get the potential buyers and then sell them back to you. That's the game. So you can either pay for it or you can pay to learn how to do this, or you can learn how to do it on your own and heaven help you please. Like I hope you get there, right? So, all right, let's answer some questions specifically now. We're going to start with Cecilia Higgins. So AJ, if someone came to you and said, I need to close 2 deals a month, what advice would you give them based on your experience now? Like where do they even start?
Um, well, what we've been taught is to start at the beginning, to think about what your goals would be, and kind of calculate what your gross commission income, what you would need. And there's a way to do that. I'm not great at the math part of it, I will admit that. But
The math part can be hard and confusing until you do it a million times. And then you're like, okay, I could do this in my sleep, but it takes time and you only do it once a year. So it's like, it's a little rusty until you start teaching other people how to do it.
right. And then when you know what you need to do, like if you have this goal, so much gross commission income, then you work backwards and then you look at, okay, what gets me there and how much lead generation do I need to get me there again, not as a guarantee, but as a probability of what you would need.
Yeah. And oops, sorry, I didn't realize, guys, that my phone was on. Do not disturb. Um, so in terms of goal setting, you know, you can't, it's really the hardest part for most people is they don't really know what numbers to use in terms of your conversion rates. So let's define a conversion rate. A conversion rate means how many activities do I have to do in order to get a result? Okay. So how many conversations do I need to have to put a deal in my pipeline? There's a conversion rate there. How many deals in my pipeline do I need to have to get a closing? There's a conversion rate there, right? And you have to start somewhere. So part of the benefit of our program is that we have data from past students that gives us a good benchmark for what we could expect. And we start there. So in my program, it's average to have 1 deal in your pipeline for every 5 intentional conversations that you have. On average, we can expect that 70% of what you put in your pipeline will lead to a closing. So we start there. So the most important thing is that you have to understand like what is a reasonable expectation for whatever strategy you're running, right? So I want to go ahead and share something really quick. And let me find the slide before I share it because this is a little bit complicated. But we're going to show you what it looks like to set your goal. Here's what I recommend y'all do. So for what was the gal's name that we were talking to here?
Cecilia.
Cecilia. So for Cecilia, I'm going to be honest with you, Cecilia, what we're about to show you takes a little bit of training to understand it. AJ, would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah, for sure.
Very fair statement. So can you all see the screen? Can you see it, AJ?
I can, yes.
Okay, awesome. So, and this is your budget. So we actually can start a little further down here. But what I want people to understand, and let's go down here. Okay. So, you need to, number one, understand where your money's going to go. So in this situation, let's say someone wants to make $100,000. Well, that means they actually need to make $151,000 because they're going to pay $51,000 to the government for their taxes. So now we know our goal is $151,000, right? But we're not done yet. You're going to pay $30,000 for operating expenses or whatever you pay. So this is all the expenses that you need to spend money on in order to run your business, like listing photos, for example. Now we add that 30,000 on. Now we're at 181, right? Then you need to figure out what you pay your broker and add that on top. Okay. So in this example, if you're on a 70-30 split, we're now going from 181,000 up to 259,000. That's what you need to actually to make. Okay. So that would be your GCI goal, your gross commission income. If you're on a 70-30 split with your broker and you keep 70%, you're going to need to actually make 259,000 in gross commission income in order to net 100,000. So the first step is always goal setting. Now, in this case, Cecilia already knows she wants 2 closings a month. Okay. So what you're going to need to do is you take a look at how many closings you want. So this would be an example for Cecilia. Your closed unit goal is 24, right? Well, we know that 35% of what you find is going to close in the next 12 months, but only 70% of that will actually close. So 35% will have a 0 to 12 month timeline. If you're listening, right, for everybody's trigger for a move. And then 70% of that will be viable, will be likely to close statistically. So Cecilia, for you, if you want to close 2 a month, in this example, it's perfect for you. In order to close 24, you're going to need to put 98 deals in your pipeline because 65% will be future, 35% will be this year, and only 70% of that 35% will close. So now you know what your goal is in terms of putting deals in your pipeline so that you can get those 24 closings. And that means you're going to have a lot in your pipeline left on day 1 of year 2. That's the important part to remember. Okay. You're already setting yourself up for success in year 2. Last but not least, you need to figure out how many weeks you wish to work a year. How many deals do you need in your pipeline per week? So in this example, if you take 2 weeks off a year, you work 50 weeks a year, you need to go out and find 2 deals for your pipeline each week. That'll put you at about 100. Okay. And if you are at 100, now you have your 98 that you were looking for, and you're going to close 24. Last but not least, you need to figure out how many conversations you need to have. So in our example, it takes 5 conversations to put a deal in your pipeline. So if you need 98 deals, you need to find 2 a week. Okay. You need to have 10 conversations a week because you're going to have 5 and find 1, have 5 and find 1. This is how you set your goal. So the first answer for Cecilia is 100% knowing what is reasonable to expect using your strategy, as well as what your daily commitment is going to be for intentional conversations. So AJ, I want to bring you back up here now. In your opinion, you've gone through this process. Did our estimations hold valid so far?
Yes. I do feel that they do. Yes.
Okay. So now AJ, the part she's looking at now is, am I going to close 70%? Because she's not yet at that point where we have enough data, right? Because it's only been a couple months. We need to see how this data unfolds. But with that said, there have been other students before her, and every other piece of the data has worked out. So we're looking good, right?
Yes.
So AJ, can you give any advice for Cecilia when it comes to, this can be really overwhelming and hard to do if she doesn't know what conversion rates to expect. Do you think Cecilia should probably join us on November 6th and 7th to actually go through this and learn about the intentional conversation?
Definitely. That's the mini program, right? Not the full program that you're talking about.
Yeah, it only costs, if you enroll today, it costs $49.50 for your ticket and $49 for the tracker. If you enroll tomorrow, it's going to cost you $99 for the ticket and $49 for the tracker. The class is on Monday and Tuesday. November 6th and 7th from 11 to 1. We're going to go through goal setting, and then we're going to go through the intentional conversation so that you can feel comfortable using those projections of 5 conversations to 1 deal. So what advice do you have for Cecilia when it comes
Well,
to
I would say you should definitely do that program, because when I joined, there wasn't that workshop program that she's talking about, because that gives you a good feel for what it is. Um, I just jumped in, and I'm certainly glad I did, for sure. But I think this is another way to see, is this program really for me? It's, it's a small investment to make, and then you can see if this is for you, which I personally think it probably would be for you.
Yeah, and the thing is, Cecilia, if you don't want to do that and you just want a cold call, then you're going to need 100 calls to connect with 20 people in order to have rapport with 10 people, and maybe you set 2 appointments. So then you need to know that, and how many appointments are going to turn into clients for you. You need to start to get your hands around, what are the statistics that are the benchmark in the industry that will show you the data. And then you can really start to say, this is my daily goal. This is my daily goal. This is my daily goal. Most people don't have that data about strategies. And that's where we kind of stand apart from the crowd, is we know exactly what it's going to take, but you have to learn the strategy. So that's my best advice. Can you give Cecilia any advice in terms of lead generating? Like AJ, this is probably very similar to your goal, isn't it? Two deals a week in your pipeline. That's pretty much it.
Yes, that's pretty average for what I do, actually.
Okay. And yeah, and you're actually putting those deals in your pipeline. So what is the best advice you can give for Cecilia in terms of her daily activities? What does your daily lead generation look like?
So my daily lead generation, which I love, is just intentional, casual conversations with people, which is what I would do anyway, except now I'm more focused in my brain about where these conversations going. But it's not like weird salesy, like you're not jumping down people's throats saying, "Hey, do you want to buy a house?" You're just talking with people, and then you're learning about, you talk to people, you learn about their families, you learn about their lives, you learn that their oldest child is graduating from high school, and then it's a natural conversation. Oh, what are you planning to do after that? Do you plan to stay in the house, or do you plan to go somewhere else? And then that starts the whole conversation. So again, it's not salesy, it's very natural, but you're talking about real estate in a very natural way. And then when she says, "Yeah, I think probably in the next 2 years we're probably going to move," well, then now you've got someone in your pipeline, so you keep track of that person. And then you can continue to build that relationship with that person and help them in other ways that we talk about in the program.
So this leads perfectly into Waukesha Charlie's question, which she wants stronger leads. In your experience, AJ, is the quality of is the quality of these leads higher than that which you've experienced prior?
Yes, I think so, because again, it's more casual conversations. I have paid for a few leads and they never really turned into anything. Um, Most of my lead generation has been relational, but I think this is even more specific because what I haven't done in the past is really keep track of people very well. Whereas now we have an actual tracker, and we're actually writing in our conversations, writing in the details of those conversations. And that helps me to know, oh yeah, I do know about this person. I know what they're thinking, what their real estate needs are in the future. Whereas before it was very ambiguous. Now it's written down. Now I can refer to it. Now I can think about how can I continue to nurture that person and that lead.
And one thing I want you to hear, Waukesha, is that the lead quality is not actually different based on the lead source. All of these people are people. They all have a future real estate transaction. What the difference is the quality of approach, quality of relationship, quality of more information and better information, and building rapport. That's what you're missing from other lead sources. Is it's kind of like a cold call. You're pigeonholed as a realtor. If their needs change, they're going to ghost you because they don't see you as relevant in their life, right? They see you as a salesperson. And I think this is what completely gets flipped on its head when you learn to have organic, intentional conversations with people. They're stronger leads because you have rapport, you have more information. You're not just a realtor to them. You're actually like you, and you happened to unlock the puzzle piece. But there's actually this lead in any other world. One of the leads in AJ's tracker could be a lead that someone bought off an online lead company. That lead could exist in both of those worlds right now. But guess what? The lead is colder when it comes through the online leads when it comes through conversation with AJ. Same lead, same quality of lead, right? You just don't have the context. And I think that's the big difference. AJ, would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. So let's go over to Joyce now. So this one I'm super excited about. Joyce wants to spend more time with her family and her husband, but also enjoy her real estate career. AJ, what is the journey you've been on in terms of work-life balance and quality of life? And what are the things you've learned to do or have been doing that have improved your quality of life and your work-life balance?
This is completely awesome because then I can feel guilt-free when real estate is always like, should I be doing more? Do I need to call this person? Do I need to see this person? But when you set it, when you know what your goal is, so my goal is two intentional conversations a day. So my goal is 14 a week. And so when I set that goal, I can do that whenever I want to. I can do that through, I do it through groups of people that I'm already involved in church or my exercise groups. And then I have friends that I call or past clients that I call, and just chat with them and talk with them. And then I found, what they're looking for in terms of real estate in a very natural way, in a friendship-based way. And then I'm done. Like in my mind, I'm done. I can do something with my husband, go out to dinner with him, and I don't even like now I don't even have to take phone calls at certain times, whereas I felt like I had to. I don't know. I think that's really important, is knowing when you're going to take phone calls and when you're just going to relax. Like I'm going to sit home and read a book, and it's okay if someone calls me tonight, I'll call them back tomorrow. They can wait for me.
Is the change that you feel in knowing when your day is done, being okay with it being done, trusting the data, that change in that inner peace it brings to you, it reduces your anxiety. Is it noticeable to the people who are around you? Have they said anything?
Yes, my husband is feeling like this is a fantastic place for me to be. So he's in the house a lot, and he can hear sometimes some of our coaching conversations, and he's really impressed. He feels like I chose well, and it's really helping me.
You did, girl, you did. I love that. Okay. And little fun tip here. AJ and I actually live 20-30 minutes from each other. And if it wasn't for my 3 kids in travel sports, I'd probably have gone to dinner with her 5 times by now. I got her husband. It's on the books. It's on the books. Okay. So Joyce, hopefully that helps. My best advice to you is place hard limits on your work. Okay. Know when you're done for the day and force yourself to get efficient enough at work so that you can truly enjoy the rest of your day. So personal time sandwiches your day. Please leave a lot of white space in your calendar. You shouldn't be scheduled all day long. You need the ability to be flexible for your own mental health. Stuff happens in real estate all the time, guys. If something interrupts what you needed to do for that day, having your intentional conversations, tracking, you got to move those time blocks to your white space. But if you don't have white space, you don't have that ability, and you're going to constantly feel like you're in quicksand. So that's number one. Take care of yourself first, take care of your relationship second, and then learn to get efficient at work. All right. So Melody Brown, she wants to know about systems and processes. So AJ, what have you learned while in the program about systems and processes? What have you implemented and how has it worked? And then what do you plan to implement? Because we're never done with systems.
Okay. So we have a tracker which has many different tabs to it, but um, it helps, again, keep track of everything, but it helps me in my mind because we also do a summary once a week where we go back and look at our tracker and then we see the progress we made. And surprisingly, that's been one of the best things because sometimes you just go through the motions and you're not sure you're making any progress.
Mhm.
So I write down my intentional conversations. I write down what I've talked to people about when I want to follow up with them again. And then I write down how many deals that it leads to, meaning you see triggers for moves. And so there's a potential there that that person is going to need to move or buy a house at some point. So that would be considered a deal. And then so then at the weekend, you or whatever, there's a certain time frame, you add that together, and then I look at it and go, oh, I put 2 deals in my pipeline this week, or 3 deals in my pipeline. And it's been a rare week that I haven't put any. I think I had maybe 1 week when I didn't put any in my pipeline.
And
But
I bet you had a big week somewhere else.
right,
That's
because
data.
it's statistics.
Yeah.
Right. It's statistics. So tracking has been really, really important to me. So that's a system that's really important. What else would I say? We also do, can I talk about vendor partners?
Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
Okay, so another strategy which has been good and something I wasn't really on board with at first was vendor partners, meaning people that are painters or electricians or plumbers, or even, I mean, even hairdressers, people that do anything really that that a person would need. Um, you're asking for people's help, other people's helps, and saying, hey, I heard you had a painter. Did you like that painter? Can I, what did you think of that painter? I'd like to get them maybe as part of my vendor partner program. And then you call that painter and you say, hey, I heard you were fantastic. Sally thought you were great. Um, I'd love to find out more about what you do. Can I send you a short application? And then that helps you. And then you also mentioned, can I call some of your references? And usually they will say yes. And so then you have more people to call and find out what they thought of the vendor. And then that leads to more conversations. So it connects the vendor with you, but it also connects sometimes the people that they have referred them, you get connected to them as well. And I have gotten people from that as well that I know that are looking to move. And so I put them in my pipeline as well. So it all kind of circles around.
Yeah, it does. They call the vendor partner strategy, my students like to say it grows tentacles.
Yeah.
Because it's like you get a vendor and then you get references, and then those references give you vendors and they give you more references, and then they ask you for a vendor, and then the vendor's like, you're awesome, let me throw you a deal, and it's this whole thing, and it rinse and repeats. We call these allied resources. These are your vendor partners, your cheerleaders. They send you multiple referrals. So in terms of, and I forget the gal's name, so let's go over here. Me go to, where's my Zoom?
Was it Melody?
Was it Melody Brown?
Yeah, Melody Brown.
Okay, so Melody Brown, you want to create limitless referrals and build a team. This is it, babe. And we will talk about it on the November 6th and 7th class. So if you want to build a team, you need to know who your allied resources are. You need to grow tentacles in your strategies so that things continue to grow and expand, and you have a big enough vision and business to be able to hold the visions of other people in it. That is the definition of a team. You need to be bigger than their vision. They need to be able to fit within it so that they hit their goal and it helps you hit your goal. Last but not least, in terms of systems, I would like to, just talk about the stabilization time block. So when you look at your calendar, guys, you should see growth every single day, but you also need to see stabilization. You need to see periods of time where you shut out the white noise, you shut down your mind and your lead generation, and you actually work on your business and the systems in your business. Okay. I'll give you guys a super easy, and I have a household stabilization and a business stabilization time block. Here's an example. Pain in my butt to go shopping, pain in my butt to decide what we're going to cook, pain in my butt to decide, to hit the grocery store, make sure we've got everything, meal prep. That's just a pain in my butt because I have a big business and I work and I pick up kids from school and I drop them off from school and I go do my travel sports. Like, guys, there's no time, right? So I made a menu of all the offerings in our house. I put the ingredients list, I laminated everything, put it on the fridge, and it's now my 10-year-old son's job once a week to plan our menus and to pull the ingredient list and to tell Alexa what we need. I'm trying to whisper so she don't hear me. But my point is that you can stabilize your business the same way. Stabilize your household the same way. Did it take me an hour and a half to do? Yes, it did. It saves me an hour and a half every week now. Okay. So that's what stabilization means. And you can do this in your business as well as your home life. Last but not least, because we're over, and AJ, I want to respect your time. Carl Meehan. Carl Meehan has a question, and I told AJ I would field this one because it's easier for me to answer, I think, than someone who's already at an established brokerage. So Carl Meehan just passed his license, and he needs to pick a broker. So what I want you to understand, Carl, is that picking a broker, the most important thing is, are they going to answer my phone call? Do I trust the advice that they're giving me? Are they going to be there for me, have my back, and give me solid advice on contracts, negotiations, and ethics? That is what a broker is for. Too many people sign on to pay through the nose with a broker because they're expecting leads. Okay, guys, the leads your brokerage has that they're going to give you are probably not high quality leads. Okay, why? Because they're cold, they're online. Okay, they're probably working with the people they have a relationship with. They're giving you the incoming stuff, which is great, but it's often not worth the price, okay, of the cost of sales. So I don't care if you go to a capping model, a split model, a discount brokerage, that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is, what are you getting for the money you're spending? Find out what that is, and don't get sold by all the bells and whistles. Okay. A CRM, maybe the ability to host your own website. That would be great. Right. And a great broker, and then save some of that money and go get into our coaching program. It's going to save your career 10 times more. We will save your business. Your broker will save your butt. That's what that relationship is. Okay. So I hope that helps, Carl. Definitely make sure you ask around about why people love their broker, and you're listening for, they always answer my phone call. They always get back to me. They give me great information. They help me with my contracts. That's what you want your broker for. Okay. AJ, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Um, yeah, I think that's really important. I love my broker for that reason. I have access to him all the time. I mean, I don't call him all the time, but you know what I mean? He's always there. Yeah.
All right. Overall, AJ, can you just share with everybody, if they're thinking about coaching or they're worried about the future, what advice would you give them?
Okay. I wanted to say one more thing about Danielle's program that I love. Because I was thinking when I was joining a coaching program, how in the world is she going to coach all of these people? Like, how realistic is that? How much attention am I really going to get? And what I love, Danielle, that you do is, we have a system called Voxer, which is an app, and it's basically you just talk back and forth, but it's much better than texting or emailing because you're hearing inflection of voice. You can say a lot more than you're going to probably type to anybody. And then Danielle listens to everybody's Voxers and responds to them personally. So I feel like, Danielle, you know me, and because we talk back and forth, and I feel that you have that relationship with like pretty much everybody, which is mind blowing, but it's done in a manageable way so that you can handle it all. And that we really get the individualized attention. So whatever you're struggling with, Danielle's going to give you specific advice. It's not just going to be like cookie cutter advice. It's going to be, okay, I see this is where you need work and I want to help you. So that to me has been worth everything to do this coaching program.
Well, I thank you for that. I'm so glad that we were smart enough to put that as an asset in the program, because not very few coaching companies do that. And I stumbled upon it through another coaching company, and I was like, this is great. And they're not even in real estate. But yeah, I would say that the days of paying $1,000 a month to meet with a coach once a week for 30 minutes in a vacuum, those days are over, guys. If that's what your coaching looks like, you need to pull the plug. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that, because in my opinion, being in a group, you have to have that exposure to the group in order to motivate you, keep you going, show you different perspectives. I think you also need to have flexible daily communication where you get to know your coach and you have the ability on demand to say, oh my God, I'm falling apart. Like, that has to be able to happen. And so we have 2 hours a week where we're together as a group, another optional 2 hours if you want it. And then you've got that daily flexible communication that's personalized to you. I don't think I'll ever coach any other way. I just don't think I will. It's just too valuable. So AJ, how can people get a hold of you if they have a deal in the Detroit or Ann Arbor area? How can they get a hold of you?
Let's see, my phone number, which is 734-634-3338, or my email, which is ajhomesforsale@yahoo.com, and four is spelled FOR, ajhomesforsale@yahoo.com.
Awesome. So AJ, when we get done here, if you can go find this post on Data Driven, make sure that's in the comment section as well. We want to make sure that anyone who has a referral can think of you, AJ McCorkle. Thank you for your time. Thank you for talking to our new members today. Hopefully you all got what you need. So Cecilia Higgins, Waukesha Charlie, Joyce Cavone, Melody Brown, Carl Meehan, thank you for submitting your questions. We'll see you all next Thursday with another live agent interview. All right. Thank you. Oh, and I'll put the registration for the class down below. Okay. All right. Thanks, AJ.
Bye, thank you.